that's the view that we start with.
Yeah. That's not going to make it bigger, Nelson.
Nobody needs a crotch shot to start our live.
We don't want to see Nelson's Cardoso.
I didn't know you were Irish. Where'd you go?
I'm taking you guys into the store with me.
Okay. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We're just getting started here and waiting for a few more people to come on, but we're with Nelson Cardoso from Tails and Scales you're right in Toronto, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's just shutting down the store, so he's going to take us on a little quick tour.
Kicking everybody out just for you guys. There you go. What's that big plant behind you? It looks fake.
Pretty sure it's alocasia, but we can ask Carol once he gets here. He's the plant expert. Yeah,
so why don't now that we've got a bunch of people joining, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Nelson Cardoso from Tails and Scales in Toronto, and I also run Reptile Runner in Canada.
So for those who don't know, I think we probably have a bunch of people from the U.S. Tell us a little bit about your store, how long it's been open, where it is, how big it is.
The store. We're in our 11th year. We're in our 11th year. Up until August of last year, we were specifically just a reptile store. In August, we took over the building next to us, introduced fish and plants. We are about 3,000 square feet now. We have a surprise coming in about a month. We're going to about 5,000 square feet, and we're expanding the fish and plant department. We're doing renovations as we speak. We're going to knock down the back wall here and make the store almost twice as big as it is now.
What's your plans with that? Just expansion, or are you changing kind of your model for the store, or what's the plan?
The model's staying the same. The reptile department's staying as is. Right now, the fish and plants are sharing 2,000 square feet. We're going to give the plant department a full 2,000 square feet and move the fish over into their own 2,000 square feet. So we're going from about 70 fish tanks to approximately 300 fish tanks.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Freshwater, saltwater?
Just fresh water.
Okay.
Fresh water and lots of aquascaping, lots of live plants, lots of fresh plants, lots of rock, lots of wood.
And are you doing pond fish as well, or just like aquarium?
Aquarium.
Yeah. Okay.
I do my aquascaping in the shower.
You miss a spot on your chin.
Yeah.
It's that gray spot.
Backwards. It's hard to find the racing stripe. It makes me run faster. I had a friend ask me if I dyed it. I'm like, why would I just dye a strip?
Yeah, leave it. It shows you that you're distinguished.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah. We've never been any of those words.
Yeah. None of those big words. So if anybody has any questions for Nelson too, so he's one of the, I think, 2 major reptile shippers in Canada anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, right now there's 2, outside of the airlines, there's 2 of us right now.
So how's that going?
You know what? It's been busy. It's been really good. Last year was our first full year, and it was a good year. This year, I think we're up 10 times what we were last year at this time, if not more. It's becoming a lot of work.
Do you think that's COVID related, or just in general, you think it's just business has increased?
For the shipping, our shipping started skyrocketing November, December, January, February. Just before COVID, it was really busy.
Yeah.
And now it's still going strong.
That's crazy. Rempel says Nelson looks like a mad scientist. Get a haircut, bud.
Unfortunately, they're all closed. We can't.
Yeah.
So how is that affecting you right now? Are you do you have customers coming in, or are you just doing curbside pickup and deliveries?
So we shut down to the public March 15th, I believe it was. It was just curbside pickup from March 15th to last Tuesday. As of last Tuesday, we were open to the public. Maximum 5 people at a time in the store. After that, we have to lock the doors, and so that way people can stay social distancing. Most of the customers, if not all, have been really good with it. Sometimes I feel like I'm running a bar or a nightclub where there's huge lineups outside, and it's only one in, one out, and everybody's been very patient. It's been really cool so far. The biggest
bouncers.
Yeah, no, everybody's been good so far. Only one person was asked to leave that we refused to serve so far in the 2.5 months. So that's pretty good for Toronto.
And he works there.
The biggest change to our business was the amount of shipping we're doing now. We're shipping product coast to coast to coast, and we have 2 people working full-time every day just packing and shipping now.
So as far as your shipping goes, now that's obviously across Canada. Do you do US? Do you do international? Like, what's the scope?
No, it's dry goods. So light bulbs, sand, all your reptile products, plants, live animals, and fish. We're shipping all across Canada, but dry goods has really picked up. When we first locked down, we were about 3 weeks behind in filling orders. Now we're up to about 7 days behind. And I want to thank everybody for being so patient with us and not freaking out, because I literally have 2 people working 80, 90 hours a week just packing and shipping orders.
Chris knows what that's like.
Yeah, we can relate.
It's funny because I'm trying to finish up my taxes from last year, and I'm having to reconcile all my credit cards, and my deposits go in, like if there's 3 in a day, it'll get grouped together as a deposit. So I have to separate that out. And it's funny, like, I go from January last year where it would maybe be 1 or 2 transactions a day, and then nothing for a couple days, and then 1 or 2 to like, we're like 8 or 10 transactions a day, and every day and all through the weekend. And then these guys come in on Mondays and they've got like a day's worth of just packing and pulling stuff, just in the dry goods. My
2 packers on Monday, they cringe all the orders from the weekend.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Yeah. I'm curious if it'll slow down. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I'm wondering once people start going back to work, if that'll change. People have more stuff to do, keeping them busy. I feel like it's boredom ordering more than anything.
I agree with you with the fact where it's going to slow down, but I think us being under lockdown for so long, we just pushed online shopping 5 years ahead of its natural progression. Like, my mom is shopping online now. Like, she's never done any of that online. Yeah. Like, a lot of my customers are doing that online, and their grandmother's doing it online. They're telling me that their grandmothers are doing it.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to keep going because people love it.
And it's convenient now. It's convenient now. Yeah. So I think we pushed 5 years ahead of its time. So I think that's going to be the next step for the pet store. Like, you have to be able to accommodate online shopping, otherwise you might suffer a little bit going forward.
I think so.
I see Jonathan's throwing some serious shade at you right now. I don't know if you can see any of this. First off, I want to say hi to our friends in New Jersey, Michael and Danielle. Are always there. Kathy Bender from New Jersey. We had a bunch of people from out east. But Jonathan's talking about having to set this up for you because you know how to work a computer.
Yeah. The first thing I said to Greg when I got here is I did this all by myself. So don't suck it.
That's awesome.
I was actually kind of worried. I called Chris earlier to ask him how to do it.
Yeah,
I heard.
Yeah, yes,
I heard. I'm curious why you're calling Chris and not me, but
if anybody's watching that knows me, he asked me. Think about that for a minute.
Mark Barrett saying, wishing that shipping costs were cheaper for online shopping, though. I mean, yeah, it sucks in Canada. Shipping is way more expensive than it is in the US. Maybe we'll get there. I mean, Canada Post is taking a lot of heat right now, and causing a lot of grief for everybody just being so far behind. So
yeah. But they got to remember that it's unnatural volume. They're not used to this kind of. They can't prepare for this kind of volume, right? Ahead of time.
Well, and they're short staffed. So,
Yeah.
Well, UPS put a limit now on how many packages you can give them per day,
I heard that.
and they're also dropping. And they also dropped a bunch of clients because they can't fulfill all the orders.
Yeah, like Mark from Northern Gecko was telling me that, and it's like, what do you mean you're going to charge me more if I'm doing lots of business with you? Like the business model makes 0 sense.
Right. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, FedEx, UPS, Canada Post, they're all just busy.
Yeah. There's lots of options, at least. Like we're using Kindersley Transport for their courier service, and they've actually been really good lately. So we've had good success with them. Canbar's been good. FedEx has been good. I'm trying to think. Northern Gecko sent us something. Who did it go through, Chris? UPS?
I think it was Canpar.
No, UPS.
Probably UPS.
Yeah, nothing but headaches with them.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I thought you meant the stuff that just showed up.
No, it sat at their depot for like a week and basically said that they couldn't find our address, yet nobody ever tried to call to figure it out.
We made the decision here. We made the decision here to go with FedEx. They're a little bit more expensive, but their worst case scenario, I've only had 1 day delay with them so far.
Yeah.
So that's a decision we made here.
That's not bad.
So enough about business and shipping. Sorry, Chris.
I think we just said the same thing. It's now that we're boring people to death with details about shipping.
Yeah. Why don't you show us some animals?
I was hoping Harold was going to be here, but give me 1 second.
Sure. That'd be good to maybe find out how Nelson got his start. How'd you get your start in the reptile hobby, Nelson?
I'm allergic to traditional animals, cats, dogs, all that. Started collecting reptiles, and it went from there. Did I lose you guys?
No, you're still there.
You're still there. We got you zoomed in so we can see you in a huge screen.
Can't see the color very well, but this is a citrus yellow bearded dragon. Let me see if I can. That doesn't work, does it?
You've got like a thumbprint on your camera.
Let me show the dragon, and it shows his logo.
I don't know. The camera's not showing the picture. It's very, very yellow. Unfortunately, can't see the color.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you did a terrible job setting him up.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. We got Angela from Scotland here watching.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Sunny Scotland, even.
Yeah. Now I don't believe she's actually from Scotland if she says it's sunny.
I can't reach it. I can't reach him. Okay, reach him. Sorry, Stella's gave me some animals to show you guys. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So that was a citrus bearded dragon, you said?
Yeah, solid yellow citrus bearded dragon.
Nice.
Yeah, we imported them from Spain.
Oh, nice.
From a breeder out of Spain.
Sweet.
So are you producing any animals in the shop itself, or bringing stuff in primarily?
Well, let's just bring it in. We're concentrating on the health of the animals we have now and growing the fish and plants. That there's just not enough time in the day. Yeah,
no, fair enough.
Plus, we're working with more and more breeders to go more and more captive bred. We launched something new on our site, which is called Witsywig. So we put the actual photograph of the animal. If that's the animal you want, that's the animal you're going to get.
Nice.
We have this guy.
Oh, God. That's
How much extra work is that? Oh, there we go. A bandit.
Yeah. He's my friend. He's my pet.
Is he?
Yeah.
Speaking of Euromastics, I've got a customer that we're doing a build for that is looking for a Euro, so I might have to see what you got.
Right now, nothing. Not until the airlines open up.
I saw Tyrone has posted one on Instagram yesterday or today.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's funny. I talked to him a couple days ago. He's like, no, not till like later in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's hard to get anything in because of the airlines.
Yeah.
But right now, we're just concentrating on the store. No breeding of animals right now. It's just too much work, not enough time in the day.
Do you breed quite a bit in your store, or is it mostly bringing it in and buying?
Bringing it in. Yeah. I used to breed, but now it's just breeding it in and buying. What are you laughing, Chris?
I literally asked him that 2 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
What's in your cup?
Exact, almost word for word.
What's in your cup?
Apple juice.
Slurpee.
No, right now we don't do any breeding here right now. We're just all importing and we're working with a lot of breeders.
Yeah.
Trying to keep
So you said those beardies came from Spain. Do you bring in a lot from Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a bit from Europe, Hong Kong, States. Yeah, quite a bit.
Cool.
I've met up with like really good breeders in those areas, and I just buy from them consistently.
Nice.
Well, we're supposed to do a trip to Amsterdam.
Yeah, it was supposed to be last month.
I know. Maybe next year.
Yeah, it was supposed to be last month.
One of us might not come back alive.
It's in April, yeah.
I will put money on one of us will not.
It's
He's not the same as when we went.
Yeah.
How long? How old is that beardy Euromastix that you have?
He's 4 years old.
And was it a wild caught or a captive bred?
No, he's captive bred. I bought him I bought him as a baby with his girlfriend. His girlfriend turned out to be his boyfriend. So now I'm waiting to get girls for him.
No judgment there yet.
It's a new age.
So Jay Lynn just mentioned that she didn't think she's seen you without facial.
Hair.
Finish that sentence.
Yeah. It was 2 separate posts, so.
Here's who we got hanging out with us today.
I missed that guy. Give me 1 second.
He's fat
now. He's not impressed.
No, he just got called fat. Greg's Fat Willie.
You're gonna get stuck with this.
I missed the puppy. You got
Well,
to remember him.
Hey, if Red Deer happens, you better be here, and you can sleep on the couch, and he can sleep with you.
Emma, last time I was there, he must have been like this big.
Yeah, now
probably. He was really small.
Now he's
so
just.
cool.
I can't even. There we go. Now he's just big.
What are you thinking about the show, though? You have any dates, or it's all up in the air?
It's all up in the air. Alberta's relaxing their restrictions a lot more now, or it's kind of starting. But we don't want to make any, right now we can't put it on. Maybe that'll get relaxed where we could, but it's probably a long shot at this point.
Yeah. We're hoping, but we don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening in Toronto for a while because our numbers are still pretty high.
Well, Ontario, Alberta's numbers have been really good by comparison, but Ontario definitely is definitely been having spikes in the numbers.
Yeah, we're still averaging about 400 a day.
There's a note from Danielle there just mentioning that when Nelson's camera is more clear when when it's not focused just on him when it's blown up. When it's got all 3, it seems to be more in focus.
Clear, yeah.
Just a heads up on that. Yeah. So what got you into? Well, obviously that, but what reptile was your first reptile that you got into, Nelson?
The first reptile I owned?
Introductory, your gateway.
Bearded dragon.
Yeah.
That was the first one I owned years and years and years ago. And just fell in love. I first tried fish, couldn't keep fish alive to save my life. Had all these empty fish tanks, got some dragons, and it went from there.
And now you own a fish store.
Now I own a fish store, but I hired fish
full circle.
But I hired fish experts to do that for me.
Yes.
So
I remember you were pretty stoked about getting the man you got there. So
he was just walking all over me. This guy, he's just exploring everywhere.
He's a nice size too. That's a good size bandit.
He's a big
boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Emma asked if you have a name for him.
No, we're gonna actually have a contest here. Once this whole Corona thing goes away, we're gonna give out coloring pictures of them, like the color, and whoever wins the coloring contest is gonna name them for us.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll let all the boys and girls choose a name for him.
I have to move some stuff here. Willie's making noise. I'll be right back.
You know that Greg's going to enter that contest, right?
I'm really good at coloring.
He's not so good at keeping in the lines, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
So-
been a lot of fun.
Do you have any reptiles in your private collection besides him?
Right now, believe it or not, no.
I find that's kind of common. Well, I wouldn't say common, but there's certain guys, yeah, when you own a store and you have them there all the time, you don't tend to have a lot of pets, right? So
I used to have a bunch at home, but then when you get home, you want to kind of just relax and not feel like you're doing work again.
yeah, fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
I'm going to build a fish tank at home, see if I can keep it alive this time.
Yeah.
30 years later, see what happens.
Saltwater, freshwater, what are you going to try?
Freshwater. Yeah, freshwater.
Yeah, I find salt, yeah. I mean,
With your store increasing in size and everything else, is your sales about 50-50 or what sort of ratio?
Believe it or not, reptiles are still obviously number one, but plants are skyrocketing. Like plant people are just as crazy as reptile people.
Jay. Jay.
I was thinking, Jay.
What? What, Jay? What?
Jay.
Plants have really taken off for us. Plants have their own Facebook BOI groups. Plants have it's exactly the same. I would never have imagined that.
It seems like lately it's been a more of a natural kind of mesh between the plant world and the reptile world. It never really was together. I mean, maybe more in Europe, but it seems like now it's coming around where you're seeing a lot more reptile people getting into plants a lot more heavily and doing planted habitats and all that stuff too, and really getting into it.
I think since COVID started, because we are under lockdown, I noticed a lot of people, at least here, turned all their fake terrariums into fully bioactive terrariums because they're home. They have the time to do it. So isopods, springtails, plants, it's just flying off the shelves.
You guys sell isopods as well?
Isopods, springtails, all that stuff.
That's blown my mind how the isopod world has exploded with all the little morphs of isopods and anything somebody can find that they can make something different or special with, it just goes crazy.
If you can collect it, people want it.
It's funny, I actually found myself, so I was doing yard work last weekend, pulled up a bunch of the dead plants in the front yard, and I'm like, look at all these isopods. And they have these crazy yellow backs on them, and I'm like, I should just keep some of these and breed them. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing with that. Never mind. But it's just crazy how that's become a thing, and now it's even entering all of our thoughts. We're like, wow, look at these crazy bugs that you could put in your enclosures. Crazy.
Kate Ward is asking, do you have any bell ball pythons available?
Blue-eyed Leucistic.
Oh, I wasn't sure what it was.
I think Nelson's frozen. There's no way he's staying that still for that long.
Nelson! He's probably panicking so much right now.
Yeah. He's probably got Jonathan he's probably on the phone with Jonathan to get his internet back hooked up.
Should I pull him off? We lost him.
There we go. He'll be back in a sec. So, if anybody has any questions for Nelson, now's the time to start rolling them through there. I see there's some nice comments about him, which is awesome. We'll relay those when he gets back. If you guys have any questions, he's running one of the two big shipping companies, the other one being Reptile Express, Sam there. So, he's got by a lot of accounts. I don't know if it's the biggest, or a lot of people seem to rave about his store in Toronto there. So.
Yeah, well, and he's been getting a lot of rave reviews too with Reptile Runner as well. I think he had taken that on. I think it's been going for about, I don't know if it's been 2 years yet, but I imagine there was some kinks to work out there, but it seems like it's going smooth for him now.
Yeah.
Being responsible for live animals isn't something I would want to take on. So.
No, fairly daunting task. I know a lot of people do it themselves, but it's nice to have those options, and you can take all of the work out of it for you, and you just get boxes, pack them up the way you're supposed to, and they pick them up.
Yeah.
Or you ship them all. It's kind of convenient. So
Nelson said he's going to be a couple minutes that he'll be back. He is obviously working on some technical difficulties.
He didn't feed the hamster there. It's running the power.
Somebody needs some cages and wondering about discounts. Yeah, we can definitely talk. Usually for 3 cages or more, there's a 5% discount. And then there's another kind of break at 10 units. But definitely send us a message and we can help you out. Caging has been going like crazy right now. We're barely keeping up to getting cages out the door, and we're getting, for every 1 cage out the door, it seems like we're getting an order of 2 or more. So it's going crazy, but we're hoping to catch up here shortly.
Yeah, we do have some more help starting on Monday, but that's going to take some time to get them up to speed. So
yeah,
hopefully that'll help us get some stuff coming out faster, though, if we have some more hands on deck. So
yeah, no, he seems eager, so I'm looking forward to having an extra set of hands there. At the very least, to have time to clean up all the mess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that slows things down. It's hard to have that balance of trying to find time to clean up and get all the work done, right? So
yeah. Emma says she can clean up, so maybe we'll have another set of hands.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely.
I say that now.
Once she's done school, she's got to finish that first. Still got a couple more weeks. Yeah. You enjoying being at home with your brother?
Says, evening, fellas. Mark saying he needs WCRE. We all need that in our life. We're trying. It's not going to be up to us. It's up to us. It's happening. It's going to be up to the government and all the safety regulations. And we want it to be safe for everybody, too. That's the main thing. We don't want to do anything if it's not going to, if we're putting people at risk unnecessarily, that's not an interest of ours at all. So.
Yeah, I mean, even if we do make it in, or if we are able to have the show, we're going to have to look at what restrictions we have and what safety measures we have to put in place to make sure it goes smoothly and without issue.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, people that managed to get in, which is great. But so, Nelson, for those that have just joined us, Nelson's having some technical difficulties. Usually it's us, so it's nice that somebody else is having some. He should be back in the next couple minutes, but he's got some cool fish he wants to show us, some plants for the plant people, and then some more reptiles and stuff too. So
I'm hoping it'll work. His camera's a little grainy when he kind of goes up close.
Yeah, so tell him to stand back.
Would WCRE consider a spring expo in 2021? That's a good question. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I tend to think probably not, because we don't want to step on toes if there's the other expos happening. There's the Edmonton and Calgary expos. But, I mean, if we don't get one in the summer and that's the first time it opens, I mean, there'd be something to think about. But we want to work with everybody, and we don't want to be packed too tight together with other people either. So
yeah, well, and the worst thing for the vendors too is having back-to-back shows. So for the sake of just putting on a show, it's not a discussion at this point, but who knows, that might change.
Yeah, that's a long ways off too.
It also depends on the vendors. We also need to have vendors that have stuff to sell. Right now, given all the COVID stuff, it seems like all the vendors are selling out of all their animals and supplies. So
yeah, they don't have the expos. They're not waiting for the expos, so the people are just buying online right now. So
yeah,
I saw they were trying. Did anybody? Now I didn't get a chance to watch this, but I saw that Dave Kaufman was doing some stuff the other day or last week or something with. There was some sort of online expo or something they were doing. So I don't know if anybody had any input on that or managed to watch it. I didn't have a chance to check it out, but I wonder how that kind of went. I know it was kind of a different concept. I don't know how that could work, but with like an online expo, I mean, it's really just, finding like message boards or forums to sell stuff. But I'm just curious how that looked or what it entailed, or if anybody has any info, it'd be great to hear about it.
Well, I'm going to have to talk to Grant as well, because we haven't heard anything from him since our discussion. We were going to offer some stuff for our vendors to be able to try and sell online, but we haven't had much info yet.
our vendors and our sponsors, like the people that have supported the show for repeatedly. We want to make sure they get sort of followed and that stuff. So here he is.
Sorry, guys. My crappy computer.
You had to go do your hair, didn't you?
The computer shut down on us.
Yeah. You did your hair.
I had to go to the bathroom.
We didn't even turn your hair after that. We just walk away when that happens. I'm like, hey, I'll be back.
Greg said I'll be right back. I just turned my computer off.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, it is sad that the expos have been canceled. So I just quickly want to address what Danielle said there about how her and Michael wanted to go for the 1 year anniversary to Tinley. We've all wanted to go to a bunch of different expos, and just saw another Super Show got canceled as well. So tough to see. I know Rami does an amazing show there too. So
yeah, the shows are fun because you see people there that you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
For me, I love coming out to see you guys and hang out. Like that's just as important for me as a show is see you guys and see the customers that go to the shows.
Yeah.
Like the shows themselves are a lot of fun. So
well, and it's funny because for the vendors, it's a lot of stress. Obviously, there's the sales to make up for it, but it's also about like the camaraderie, on the Friday and Saturday night at the shows after the shows have closed, and talking with fellow vendors and going over breeding plans and blah blah blah. So
there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Also wanted to say hi, one of our longtime supporters, Cody Valencia, is there. He's got some Herman's tortoises. He just bought a new one. He's looking for a new one. He's going to ask some Herman's tortoise questions. So if you know anything about them, feel free to chime in when they're asked.
What else can you show us, Nelson?
We want to see some plants. People want to see the plants.
Bring some plants. Okay, I got some plants coming. Harold's bringing me some plants to show you guys. Actually, I want to introduce you guys to Harold. This is Harold.
Perfect. Yes.
Hey guys.
Hey Harold.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Nelson says you're the expert.
I wouldn't know about that, but I've been around a long time. We have a mutual friend. My step-niece is very close friends with one of your close friends. So you might know Shonda. You know Shonda?
Nope. Shonda?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to, Chris or me?
Either one of you. That's Greg. That's Chris. Yeah.
I know Chandra in Lethbridge.
What's the big guy's name on the show?
Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Jason. Yeah, Jason's friend.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Yes, I've met. Yeah. We've met. Yeah. Yes. Well, it's a small world, really.
It is a small world. Let me go get some plants for you.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah,
people are excited. I can't believe how excited people are to see plants.
Plants and fish.
Entertaining. Hang in there, Danielle. We'll get some animals there too.
So Nelson, why don't you give what's Harold's story? Like, I remember you told me he's been in the industry quite a while. Where did he start?
I'll let him tell you that, but I think he started as early as way back when in the PJ days. And he ran a lot of the PJ stores, and then he left there to go to one of the main stores here called Menagerie, and he was there for the last 20 years or so. Then I was lucky enough to convince him to come here. So he's been around a long time.
I feel like you tricked him.
The fountain of information
or something.
Sorry?
I feel like you tricked him. You've got pictures or something. Oh.
I got pictures of something.
No.
It's the apple juice.
Never mind. Yeah. I said, I feel like you tricked him somehow. You've got photos of him or something. You tricked him into working for you.
Oh, no. Well, I've known him for 20 years. He's always been at the other store.
Right.
So like when we relationship. Here he is. Let him show you some plants. So this plant here is probably the most popular plant that we sell. It's called Oakley creeping ficus. Almost everyone who sets up a paludarium or a terrarium, they love this plant because they put it in and it covers the back. Frogs like it, lizards like it. It's just pretty cool looking. Like we ship this plant all the way out to Alberta all the time.
which is kind of crazy. This is the second best.
We've got some of
This one
those
here,
in one of the crop tanks too, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is pretty popular. And then the regular creeping ficus, of course. These things, this is like the bread and butter of the terrarium world. It's like some of the most popular plants are this one.
Which one's that one? Is that the regular creeping ficus?
The creeping ficus.
Yeah. Oh wow.
We can't keep this in stock. We got in a whole pile of this yesterday, and we've already sold quite a bit of it already.
Well, how big does something like that get? And are there special? Is it good for low light, or do you need special lighting? Or
it's good. It's good for low light.
Okay.
In highlight, it actually you can tell when it's been in highlight. I don't know if you can see the tips of the plant get this beautiful sort of reddish color. It's hard to see there a little bit. You can just see the copper going in.
Yeah, on the
just
edges.
a tiny bit. Just on the edges, but it goes this beautiful copper color into bright light. It's really popular because of that, but this will grow anywhere, like in a dart frog tank, really high humidity, lower humidity, it'll still grow well. Nice. It has little tendrils that stick to the cork background or whatever background you have. It's very popular that way.
Oh. Cool.
And then some of the epiphytic plants, we have like staghorn ferns and elkhorn ferns. It's so popular that even ZooMed made an artificial version that looks almost identical to the real one.
Oh, cool. So which one is that? Is that the staghorn or the elkhorn? Or is that the same thing? Just two different common names.
Oh. Might have froze. Nelson's phone or his computer maybe did another reboot.
Yeah. His laptop might be 20 years old as well. Like mine.
We might lose him again here, I think.
If anybody has any plant questions or requests, we're gonna see some plants here to start with.
I think that the surge in plant sales started before COVID, but especially with COVID being at home all the time, obviously the nicer your enclosure looks, and the more you appreciate it. So I'm partial to the bioactive and the naturalistic setups.
Yeah, even planted setups, not even necessarily bioactive, but even just nice planted setups are always nice. Again, it makes a showpiece. If you're going to make a nice habitat and spend the time and energy to make it look great and put it in your living room as a furniture piece or something, it's always nice to have some nice live plants in there. It just adds to it and makes it, it's like a fish tank where you look in and you get lost in the little jungle that you made.
Yeah, good stress reliever.
Yeah.
Cody, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a male or a female?
He's in Arizona, Greg.
Oh, damn. I've got two females and I need a male.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, us not being down there, it's so big. The market there is so different than up here. We don't really know who would happen to have full-size tortoises in Arizona at any given time. I would check some different local reptile forums, that kind of stuff, and see who's got what, or put out word, locally that you're looking for some. Then maybe you can get in touch with somebody there. But for us, because of the international stuff with tortoises, it's really something we can't do or entertain up here, and we don't really know, who down there is working with those.
Oh, I think he's coming back.
Different computer now, so this is
my more clear too.
Here, so hopefully this will be more stable than a PC. So
the camera already looks way better
here.
Yep.
Can you hear us, guys?
Here we go. Can you hear us now?
Yep.
Can you hear us, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
This should be more. This is more stable. Probably a better camera.
Except it froze for me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we're back.
So that last one you had, was that the staghorn or elkhorn or whatever you call it, or is that the same plant? Like two different names?
That one is a staghorn. This is the classic staghorn. classic stagger. And we actually have the elkhorn too. We actually have about 3 or 4 different species of this one here, and they all, as they grow bigger, they look different. Like they all are epiphytes, and they cling to the trees with the. I can show you there the little shield that's developing here. That's where sort of the mosses and all that are collected, and it clings to the trees. They're pretty cool that way.
Is that does it get bigger than that? Those ones look already pretty big.
They get huge. They can theoretically get as big as 3 or 4 feet.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Huge. If you ever
now, do they grow quickly, or
see them like,
is that something that you have to kind of fertilize and have big lighting for it to grow like that, or is it something that just
no
kind of?
fertilizer. It just grow. They're in the right conditions. They're pretty fast growers. Yes.
Yeah.
So in about 2 years, that could be 3 feet across if you let it.
Oh wow! How hardy is
pretty
something like that? Like, is
Yeah.
that something that's easy for a beginner to work with in a terrarium, or is that for more advanced people that know what they're doing with plants? Or?
Definitely easier. Yeah, it's pretty easy, and it's very forgiving when it comes to animals too. Like it's got a really tough, almost plastic-like leaf. So if like a crested gecko or an animal or something like that jumps on it, it's not going to matter, and if it poops on it or anything like that, it's just going to roll right off. So it's not that delicate. It's nice and tough.
Nice. So maybe even for some smaller snakes and
It's like
stuff
the-
too, they're kind of squish plants. It's always hard to find plants that
I
work with
would
snakes.
love that. Like, yeah, just because they're rough with them sometimes, right? They're just coiling around it and knocking off the branches and stuff like that. But a lot of the arboreal
Trampling it and stuff.
would like. Yeah, it's hard to set up a terrarium for a boa or something like that without having them wreck it. So
Yeah.
I could see that. In that case, you would use something like for a boa, you'd use something big like a bromeliad, something like that that it's not really going to crush or anything like that. You could mount this up on a large branch, and the boa could coil around it, and it wouldn't damage it whatsoever. So
Yeah.
that kind
It's
of
like,
stuff
it
is
seems
good
to
for
be
that.
either that or like something on a tree, or else you're talking the ground cover type plants that they can trample and they don't really do anything to or squish with their big bodies.
Yeah, that's what the get back to the creeping ficus. The snake's not going to do any damage. So you could walk on that without any really. You could use it as if you lived in Florida, you could use that like as an alternative.
Here's a question for you guys. Since it's legal, have people asked for hemp or marijuana plants in their enclosures?
Not me.
I know people who have started putting some in their terrariums and that just because it's a neat looking plant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they just get too big over their side.
Yeah, that's why.
They go huge, right? 6, 7 feet. Like, what are you going to do with that unless you're using it? I guess it would be good
I know what you do with that.
a chameleon.
Yeah.
A chameleon setup, sure, like in a big enclosure, it would go right to the top, right?
I feel like there's another use for that. They could probably trim that and find a use for that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a use for that.
I'm thinking that as well.
Yeah, that's what I
Maybe
figured.
something else.
Mhm.
In the
Nelson,
meantime, here's a couple paludariums that we built.
Sure.
Oh, nice. So what goes into
I don't know if that's
when you're doing a
inside one.
paludarium? Oh, sorry. So when you're setting up a paludarium, what goes into your kind of the thought process? Is there a lot of pre-planning, or you kind of just throwing stuff together? Like, maybe walk us through your process for making one.
It really depends on how detailed you want to make it. I've been learning from Anis from ZoomEd. He
Yeah, he's
probably
awesome.
builds the best paludariums I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got he's the best at it. So I've been learning from him and trying to do different stuff like that. And here's another one. This one, you could just see they take over the whole tank.
Nice.
You guys have a really nice one in your workspace as well.
Yeah.
The one upstairs in your loft area.
It's
that
needing
one's
a
beautiful.
cleanup.
It needs a haircut badly.
Yeah.
Well, put those in an envelope and send them my way.
I know, yeah, you were
I want
saying.
those
I wanted to
clippings.
make sure that works. That's fine. We're allowed to do that. I didn't want to do anything weird. Just throw it in a
100% legal.
Ziploc and send it off.
Well, I'll call you next week and I'll tell you how to do it. But it's
Yeah,
very
Sure,
easy.
I appreciate that.
They've got some really nice clippings.
Yeah,
Here's some
They're
more
kind of
plants for you
overgrown
guys.
right now.
these are some more like these are more popular terrarium plants, things like jungle cacti, that kind of
cool.
stuff. These
Ready to
this is
throw?
popular. Not these are that the non-pet people are buying. This kind of stuff here, philodendrons, alocasias, all this kind of stuff.
Nice.
This is all the popular stuff.
So that, sorry, that
This is
was
not
it a
a sign?
succulent or a cacti you were showing? It froze for a sec, so we didn't get to see it. What was it again? Sorry.
Yeah, this is actually they call it fishbone or Rickrack cactus. It's actually a cactus, but it's from the rainforest. It's more of a jungle cactus. Has these really cool white flowers at night. It's a cactus, but it's not really spiny, so it's safe with animals, and it feels like plastic. Another really good one up in the branches if you had it up on a branch.
So, being a
People who want to build
rainforest cacti, what's involved
Sorry,
in
go
the
ahead.
care of that?
It just needs to dry out between watering. So if these, like normally these are up in the branch and they have a little bit of moss or leaf debris where they collect and they grow there. So at the rainforest, it rains for like a couple hours in the mid-afternoon and then it dries up. So it dries up and it's up there too. So it dries between watering, right?
Okay. That's cool.
Have you guys?
Easy enough.
We've been getting a lot of requests lately for naturalistic setups, bioactive setups for beardies or desert dwelling. Can you guys comment? Have you guys set anything up like that where they're using the
You want
Cacti and succulents.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be possible. You could use grasses too. There are some grasses that you could use that are safe.
Are there any readily available small shrubs, like shrubby plants that are sort of readily available?
Yeah, there are some you can use. Yeah, there are some. Yeah, absolutely. There are some you could use. I don't have any here right now, but we have a whole range of those.
What would you recommend if
some of the drier growing? Ponytail Palm is popular. It has like let me see if I can find one.
While he's doing that, this here is called a giant green nose. A lot bigger than normal nose. Chris, you probably know what these are. These are great for paludariums. They live, they're active, they jump from branch to branch, plant to plant.
Nice.
And as you can see, they're pretty docile for us. Those go.
Wow.
This is a male. There we go. Typical anole through.
Nelson, do you have somewhere closer to
Very underrated little.
Do you have a spot that's maybe closer to your router? Like we're getting tons of lag.
I'm right beside the router.
Oh.
Greg, maybe put him small again. Don't put him big. See if it works better when he's not zoomed in. It seems to not freeze when he's full 3D. That's better.
Yeah. Sorry, and Nelson, what was that lizard?
A giant green anole.
Giant green anole and Norops biporcatus.
Nice.
It's a Norops. They get a beautiful moss pattern. They're fantastic. Those they're underappreciated. All those smaller, tropical animals, and some of them are spectacular. The Europeans, they're like light years ahead of us when it comes.
Yeah. Is that full grown?
This here, this is a ponytail.
Yeah, that's an adult male.
Yeah.
That was an adult male.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go back to the bearded dragon thing. This is a ponytail palm. So this is a really dry desert type plant. Doesn't look like it. It's nice and green. But these guys, they get this sort of this elephant foot base here.
Okay.
which stores water. And if a bearded dragon nibbles on it, it's perfectly fine. And this is a big version, but if you had smaller versions in it, it's perfectly fine to be in with a bearded dragon or similar, for sure. I'm not sure about a Uromastyx. It might just bite down to a nub, but for a bearded dragon, it'd be perfectly fine for sure. Any of the desert, like collared lizards or things like that. There's a
Where's
whole.
that
This is
native to that plant?
another world. I think this is Central America,
Okay.
like Mexico, places like that.
Right.
Guatemala.
I just wasn't sure if it was like
There's a whole
Africa.
range. That's another. That whole realm of bioactive is underappreciated and under supported for sure. There is lots of plants that we can definitely do for arid setups for sure. There's lots of plants that are safe that can be eaten if that's what's needed or just for decoration. It's underappreciated for sure.
I think it's great that you guys have such a wide variety of plants in your store. The one thing that I find kind of frustrating is when you're needing plants for enclosures, going to the garden centers, they know great plants, but not necessarily ones that are suited for reptiles. So the tie-in together for you guys is really great, where you can advise them that these are safe. Even if they eat them, they're not going to cause them problems and what have you.
Yeah, I think we'll have a whole section just of edibles, and that whole take home a little tray of plants that you can put with your tortoise or your dragon so they can eat it is something that is underutilized for sure.
Yeah.
People do it for their birds. Why not do it for their reptiles, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know that
seems to be the next step,
one
right?
area that we want to. It is. I agree. Why not set it up naturalistically? Things are breeding in captivity now, but they'll be probably more productive in more naturalistic setups. Sure, even some of the more difficult ones.
Well, I find it's more enjoyable as a keeper too. When it's set up naturally, you're more inclined to.
Absolutely, it looks like a little.
Yeah.
It's like putting a little piece of the desert in your living room.
Well, you have more pride in your work after that, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot more than just keeping an animal alive.
Nelson, Tyrone's saying, hey, everyone, much love. Hey, Nelson, miss you, bro.
I miss you too, buddy. I never got that list from you today.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Nelson, Kate started asked this once before. Do you have any blue-eyed Lucy's right now?
Not blue-eyed Lucy's. We have some other stuff on our site that are very similar. The blue-eyed sold out 2 weeks ago. We're hoping to have more in a month.
Okay. What else do you got to show us?
We're very low. Like there's nothing coming in because of the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. We're low.
For your, I was curious with your plant setups, especially because you are moving them so quickly. Do you have them like set up under proper plant grow lighting while they're in the store? Or how does your setup work?
Sunblast. Yeah, we use sunblasters.
You guys want to check it out?
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll take you over there and show you. Yeah, the damn lights were more expensive than the actual plants.
That's how that goes.
You just turn the lights back on now. So here's, well, where are you guys? So I'll just show you this row, I guess. There's 4 rows of plants. I mean, like,
nice.
Got a wide variety.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe give us a bit of what we're looking at here. How easy they are to care for, low light.
oh, that's a Herald thing. So Harold, as I scroll,
This row here is all ferns. So these are all low light, moderate humidity. Very popular in terrariums. Now we're into the peperomias. These are more of these go on the bottom of the terrarium. Quite a bit of color. I don't know if you can see the reds. They're popular. And then we have some more of the desert. There are a lot of the arid types here. The desert rose and sensitive. Cacti not for terrariums, but they're definitely to look at anyways.
is this working, guys?
It is, yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a little bit choppy, but it's pretty good. But Jonathan just made a comment about, I think the light budget cut into the internet budget, and that's why we're laughing right now.
So, and then we just have tons everywhere.
We have plants everywhere.
We have plants everywhere.
We have so many
While
plants.
you're showing us some of these awesome plants, there's two questions we had here. One was Ruthless Reptiles asking how much for a blue-eyed leucistic, and the other question, Mark Barrett's asking if you ever get any blue or red garters. I mean, there's that's a wide swath, but I'll let you answer that.
The garters, I usually get them in. I don't know right now because of the whole COVID thing. The bells, I think the last one I sold was $400. And here's some of our aquatic plants.
Oh, nice.
Like I joke around now saying that we're a plant store that sells the occasional reptile.
Yeah.
We sell so many plants.
That's crazy.
Do you find you have a lot of people coming into your store now that have zero interest in the animals and they're strictly there for the plants?
Yes, we definitely have a huge group of people now
50% of the plant people that come in.
that avoid the reptile department and go straight to the plants.
Oh, wow.
About 50% of our plant people are strictly just plant people right now.
We had a couple of
here's some
people
of our
come in
fish.
recently that bought cages that were just setting them up for plants. They actually bought our enclosures just for plants, not for animals, which to me seemed very strange. But
A lot of people are doing that. I never believed that either, but I have a lot of people who buy terrariums and they're putting just plants in them.
yeah,
So here's just a couple of our tanks.
It's funny how that multi-use works. Like we had a couple guys there for a while that were buying our rodent watering parts for bird feeders.
I never even thought of that. That's crazy.
It's amazing, isn't it? So these are our beta fish. We don't keep our beta fish in cups. We put them actually in aquariums.
Oh, nice.
All of our beta fish actually go into aquariums.
I love that.
Yeah. So sad seeing them in those
No
little
cups.
Well, I mean, in the wild, they can live in a
no cups here.
horseshoe footprint. So
I know.
You want
I
to put
know.
them in a bigger, give them some room to swim around.
Yeah.
But they're not here in the wild. They're not here by choice, so we might as well make them happy.
No,
while they're here.
exactly. No, I agree 100%. I'm just saying, like, there's that argument to be made, but I prefer,
So we're
like,
back to-
anytime I love betas, and when I kept them, I always had them in at least a 10-gallon or so with some plants in it and stuff, so, you know, it's more enjoyable that way, too.
Yeah.
You don't like keeping a little tiny bowl.
So Nelson,
So that's a quick little tour.
sorry, I cut you off
Yes,
there.
Greg?
You had said that you're expanding. When do you plan on opening the larger area?
In about 4 more weeks. We're almost finished our beginning of the renovations are almost done, and then we're actually going to build the fish room. Like we took over a mechanic shop, so there was a lot of work to degrease it and fix the floors, and so quite a bit of work to get it to where we need to be. And then in a couple of weeks, we're going to start building all the fish tanks and make it a fish store.
Yeah. Well, I mean, brick and mortar stores are hard to keep open these days, so it's great to hear that you're doing well and that you're expanding and growing and adding clientele. That's really cool that you can bring in the plant people, even if they aren't necessarily reptile people, and get some of their business as well.
For me, it's been a really good experience because I don't have a lot of plant knowledge or fish knowledge. And it's been so far, it's been a lot of fun for me. And I hired, sorry?
Oh, yeah, sorry, go
Chris?
ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Like we hired the right people. We hired fish people. We hired plant people. We hired the right people for the departments. So it's really helped us through this hard time and brought in, like you said, a lot of new people to the store.
Well, it gives exposure to people that may
So
not have
it's been a
exposure to the other parts of the hobby, right? Like, or different hobbies. You bring them all together, and it's important to diversify. Yeah, sorry, what I was going to say was what you've done is great, where you brought in people that really know what they're doing when it comes to the plant world or, other stuff, that fish world, where, you don't have that level of expertise or experience. So that's the way to do it. I mean,
Scott
been a lot of fun for
McBean
me. I'm
is.
still learning.
Go ahead, Nelson. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Scott McBean, I'm next door. Scott's one of
Yeah.
our customers. We're going next door, Scott.
He's worried he's going to show up and you're gone.
midnight move.
No, I'm gonna stick around. I'm sticking around.
Yeah, sorry, we're all over each other. It's just because there's a bit of lag and delay there, so we're trying our best. I apologize for that. We're trying not to walk all over each other, but it's happening.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to mention, though, Nelson, I mean, it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock your time. Definitely, you've given us a great showing of your store and everything that you've got in there. But wondering if you're going to want to get home at some point. We've still got most of the night ahead of us, but it's late already for you.
This was fun, guys. I like doing this with you guys.
Well, and likewise.
This is the second one I've done, and both of them with you guys. I've only ever done 2 of these, and the voice been with you guys, so this has been fun.
I got a question for you.
This will get back to normal, so I can visit. Once I'm fully completed, it's going to be around 5,000 square feet.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, that's crazy to think, because
Right
my shop's probably, I think, with the upper area is 3,800 square feet, so that's quite a big store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun times. I started with an 800 square foot store 11 years ago.
Wow. That's
I
awesome.
started with 800 square feet, and 300 of those square feet was back room. So the store itself was only 500 square feet.
Wow.
That's kind of similar to J&J Reptiles, how they started.
Yeah.
So, this lag is getting really frustrating. So I think we should cut this one short tonight.
Emma, did you have any
guys.
questions?
No.
Emma wants to know when Nelson's coming back and she can help him at his table.
Yeah.
As soon as you guys open up your show.
Yeah.
You know I'm coming, so whenever you're ready for me.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about trying to get out your way as well, and maybe Emma can come take a tour of your shop.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Anytime. Anytime. You guys have a place to stay as well if you guys show up.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Nelson. We'll try and get you on another time as well. But thanks for talking with us and showing us your shop. And say thanks to Harold for all his plant expertise. It's great to see somebody so knowledgeable. I mean, that's what a lot of the pet stores need, is just people who know what they're talking about.
We'll definitely be making some phone calls when we're building some habitats. We're talking to Harold.
Yeah, exactly.
No, call here anytime. Yeah, anytime. You guys stay safe and say hi to everybody for me.
You too. All right. Thanks, Nelson. Thanks, Harold.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
You're welcome. All right.